Hello, Dr. Libby here. I'm going to talk today about what doesn't work for weight loss and what does work for weight loss. And I know this because I've tried all the things, right? So, what doesn't work for weight loss, and when I say weight loss, I mean long term weight loss, is exercising more and eating less. Now, let me pause and say it absolutely does work in the short term. I've lost 10 pounds this way many times, but I've never successfully kept those 10 pounds off. Because when you are over exercising and under eating, you are making shifts in your body hormonally that make this unsustainable. Namely, your cortisol hormone and your thyroid hormone become dysregulated. When you're exercising excessively, this is stressful and your cortisol levels surge, and this makes sustainable fat loss very difficult. When you're eating too few of calories, your body shifts your metabolism to a slower metabolism, which impacts your thyroid function. Along with this, you're going to lose muscle mass, which further decreases your metabolism. So while it works in the short term, it rarely is sustainable for the long term. There's some strong biological urges that set you up for failure when this is the plan too. So if you're wanting to lose 10 pounds for an upcoming event, yes, this will work. But every time you do this, I think you damage your metabolism a little bit more. Now, I've done the 30-day cleanses, calorie restriction for several months at a time, where I'm counting meticulously every single calorie I'm taking in. I've done it, and I have seen short-term success with it, but I'm no longer interested in doing those diets anymore. What I'm interested in doing is what changes can I make today that I can sustain for a lifetime that will get me there, not as quickly, but in a sustainable way. I think of it like this. If I take 100 steps forward and no steps backward, I get there a lot faster, right? But what if I took 5 steps forward and 1 step back, and then 8 steps forward and 2 steps back, 5 steps forward, 1 step back, and kept going? I'm going to get there still rather quickly, but in a way that I can stay there. And what do I mean by steps forward and step backwards? I mean, steps forward are days where my diet is really perfect. Those are steps forward. Every choice is a choice to make a good or bad decision when it comes to what you're fueling your body with. But guess what? I like to have some treats too. And so a step backwards is having that dessert or eating that pizza or indulging a little bit, which makes life a little bit more fun and a little bit more enjoyable when you're allowing yourself to have those occasional splurges. When I don't allow myself to have them, I eventually binge later and I overeat much more than if I had just given in occasionally and allowed myself to enjoy it. So if eating less and exercising more isn't the answer, what is? And here's where it may be a little disappointing because I don't have that quick, easy magic bullet fix, right? We love that. I know I do. We're so used to things on demand. I can on demand watch any show I want at any time on my TV. I can order what I want on Amazon and have it here very, very quickly. And when it comes to health and wellness, we want the quick fix too. You're not alone. I'm right there with you. I'm always kind of looking for the next thing. And I try those things. I do for myself and for my clients. But what really works in the long term are the basics. So 3 things. Okay. First is eating a well-balanced, unprocessed diet. It's hard to overeat foods like this. No one overeats avocados, but it's very easy to overeat Oreos and potato chips, right? A calorie is not a calorie. They've actually done studies and they said if you ate, say 500 calories of potato chips versus 500 calories of whole grains and fruits and vegetables, you're going to lose weight in the 500 calories of the whole grains, fruits and vegetables. It has to do with nutrient density and feeding the microbiome and keeping your mitochondria working as well as they can. Okay. So a calorie in is not a calorie out. The types of food you choose do matter. And when you're choosing these good types of food, your hormones become regulated, your hunger becomes regulated, and it's much easier to stay on track. They're much more filling and keep you full longer. The second thing is to create a realistic exercise plan. Now, I'm a former over exerciser. I've done lots of marathons and a couple Ironman triathlons. I used to CrossFit regularly. And I used to do it sort of as a punishment for my body. It was like I was trying to burn a bunch of calories so I could eat a bunch of food. And I was suffering. I was purposely trying to suffer. Now, I think there is some good to being gritty and tough, and I still like to push myself to the limits at times. But instead of doing really long and really hard workouts, I like to do shorter, more gentle workouts depending on how my body is feeling. There's days I like to push it, but there's days where I like to do something just very mild, depending on how I'm feeling and how my sleep has been. And I'll tell you what I never do now is exercise intently by sacrificing my sleep, because sleep is so important. The other thing that's really important when it comes to creating a realistic exercise plan is your amount of NEAT. That is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That's the amount of calories that you burn not exercising. Those really count too. So housework, yard work, grocery shopping, all these things count as NEAT. I know a lot of people who exercise very intently, but are very sedentary the rest of the day. They say smoking or sitting is the new smoking, right? And I have to be very cautious because I spend a lot of my day sitting for my job. So it's very important to get up and move around regularly. I think these devices like Apple Watches or rings and Fitbits really help us be more mindful of this, telling us to get up every hour and move. That's certainly a nice reminder for me. And then the third thing is to be aware of sleep and stress patterns. So I already talked about sleep. Sleep is essential. Okay. It is not for lazy people. You need a minimum of 7 hours of sleep every single night. And stress needs to be actively managed. When your stress is out of control, your hormones are out of control, and your weight loss is going to, your attempts at weight loss are going to be out of control. So practicing mindfulness. I also like to be mindful when I am eating, you know, instead of just jamming calories in my mouth. I like to sit down and really enjoy those foods. And like when I'm eating, I eat instead of scrolling Facebook, watching the news, and answering emails, right? So I hope this helps. And if you start to implement these things, 2024 can be a really great year for you, your health, and your weight. It's slow and steady wins the race. Definitely. Have a great day.